So, welcome to the Mallet Sports Simulator. When you go into this address, you can at the moment play a game of GC or Gate Ball. So after entering your name, I'm going to play some GC, and you can see that once we get into the GC game, we have two different views, a three-dimensional view of the lawn and a two-dimensional view of the lawn. And both of these are always reflecting each other. So the balls are in corner 4 at the moment. We can see that in the distance. And a nice thing to start off with is just getting oriented with moving around the lawn with the camera. And you do that by clicking on the little camera icon on the mini-map overview and just dragging it around. And you can see that that drags the camera position around with it. So let's zoom over to corner 4 and have a look at the balls waiting over there. There they are. And now let's come back again to hoop 1. You can change the direction that the camera is facing by using the left and right horizontal arrow keys on your keyboard, and you can look up and down as if you're looking up and down with your head by tilting your neck by pressing the up and down arrow keys. So let's first of all talk about how we set the target that the balls are going to be shot at. There are two ways of doing that. You can either grab the top of the target where these arrow heads are and move the target around, and that will enable you to control the target at a very fine level. Another way of doing it is to grab the target on the mini-map and move it around on there. And you can see that we're always reflecting the position of the target in 3 dimensions as well. So both of these views are affecting each other. So let's play our blue ball with the first shot, and we do that by pressing the hit button which appears at the top of the screen. So pressing hit will send the blue ball to near that target. It won't be perfect because there is some error built into each shot, and that error is determined by your player settings. The player settings can be seen by clicking on the little player icon and having a look at the player attributes. And we can see that the blue player is very good. They have a critical distance of 20 yards. Their only inaccuracy is about 1 inch for every yard of the shot that they're playing, and they're pretty good at jump shots. So we can change the characteristics of each player very easily. So it's red to play. I think red will probably want to put their shot a little bit away over here. So let's pop the red ball over there. The red player is obviously pretty good too. Let's move the target now so that it's going to be good for the black player. So let's put the black player in here. And you can see that I can move this panel around. So if it's in the way of your shot, you can move it off screen. Of course, at this moment you do that, then it might affect your ability to get to the camera. Now, yellow's really got to do something about this blue, so let's move the target onto the blue ball. And if we were to just hit the yellow now, if it was a good shot, all it would do is settle in the target. We want to hit it harder than that. So I'm actually going to use the distance modulator, which is this black and white concentric circle thing here, and dial up some extra pace. So you can dial up extra yardage in units. That's an extra yard, an extra 2 yards, and so on. Or you can subtract them. So I can actually say I want this shot to go a bit shorter. So I want it to go 2 yards less than the target. But of course I really want this to go much harder. So I'm actually going to do about 11 yards extra pace. In fact, I might even do a little bit more than that. So let's hit this shot. Off comes the yellow. Oh, it just missed. And that means, of course, that now that it's blue's turn, blue will have a good chance of making the hoop. So we can move the target over there. Now if we want to have a slightly better view of that, let's just move the camera, and if we just pan it around like this, so just moving, pressing the left arrow key, and let's get the blue ball through the hoop. Now, at the moment, when a hoop is made, or the detector within the hoop detects a ball has gone past it, it will indicate that on this little panel here. So at the moment you just manually make a note of that, but what the feature that we're working on at the moment is getting the hoops to automatically score and have a scoreboard. So now we're up for the next hoop. Of course we want to play with the red ball up to hoop number 2. The easiest way of doing that is just to drag the target up to hoop number 2, and that will enable the red ball to play up there. Now we can see that this little dotted line here is showing us that the red ball, it's quite difficult to see, but the red ball has got is a bit hampered for that shot. It's hampered by the blue and it's hampered by the hoop. So we might just move the target out a little bit, and that's what we're going to have to do to get the red ball into a reasonable position without clattering into those other balls there. Now the black ball is definitely hampered by the blue and the hoop. Look, so the black ball is going to have to come over to here. Anyway, you get the idea that that's how we play. If at any stage you get lost with the camera, then just click the camera icon up here and you'll teleport back to hoop 1. So this view from corner 1 up to hoop 1. Everybody knows where they are with that. You can show the presence of the offside lines at any stage. So if you've just made a hoop and you want to know whether a ball is offside or not, you can toggle those. There is the ability to change the order of shooting. So if you actually decide you want to play a game with extra turns, or that there's been some form of fault, that means that the turn ends, then you can change which ball is the next in turn by clicking these buttons over here. And finally, well, not finally, because there's 2 more things. The first is that in addition to this mini map reflecting the position of the balls on the lawn, you can drive it the other way. So for example, you can, by clicking this button here, which currently tells us that the input is coming from the lawn, you can make it so that the lawn changes according to the mini-map. So if we wanted to say, for example, that this red ball was offside and it needs to be moved, we can just drag that red ball over there and it will drag over on the lawn as well. So you can create scenarios doing this. You can make a scenario where this is the position of the ball, it's blue to play, and then by clicking from lawn you're now able to play out that scenario. So you can create scenarios, you can record games, you can basically switch between the lawn mode and the mini-map mode to create and play any scenarios you want. Now scenarios can be saved, so if you click on this save icon here, you can give this current position a title and a description, and you can press add scenario, and that'll save it to the database of scenarios, which you can then draw up by clicking on this icon and refresh, and that will then give you a list of scenarios that other people have put in. By clicking on that, you then get to see that scenario. So this is a scenario that has been built earlier. If we take our camera up there for a closer look, we can sort of see what sort of thing we've got. That's the scenario that we're going to start with. So hopefully that's enough of an introduction. One last thing to tell you is that you can replay at any stage. So by pressing on this replay icon here, you can go back and replay the last shot. But have some fun, let me know of any feedback, and happy hitting.